everyone, it's time to go to Yellowstone. We're all packed. Let's go to the airport. Hey everyone, voiceover Priya back again. I'll be voicing over some parts to provide further information. Quick note, you can take any route you want to Yellowstone. We're personally taking a flight from Phoenix, Arizona to Salt Lake City, Utah, and I will see you later.
Yep.
Where are we?
We are in the south wing of airport.
We're in the airport.
Yeah, same thing.
We grabbed some lunch and boarded our flight to Phoenix, Arizona. Now, the view was so clear and so beautiful, even though some clouds wanted to play Tetris. But I'll let it slide. I'm on vacation. Anyway, we landed just in time for dinner, and after stuffing ourselves with a bunch of junk food, we rolled to our flight to Utah. I want to quickly point out that Arizona was literally an oven at 100 degrees Fahrenheit in the night. Anyway, after my brain exploded, I got more food. I may have stolen from my mom, but don't tell anyone. Shh, be quiet. I want to point out this view here. It's so gorgeous and it's so beautiful, but the camera doesn't do any justice. That goes throughout the entire video. You really have to see it for yourself. I mean it.
So where?
We're in Salt Lake City, baby. Salt Lake City. Cool, let's go. At midnight, we landed in Salt Lake City, Utah, and got our rental car. It is near impossible to not have a mode of transportation that you can depend on, as places are far and wide in Yellowstone. We accidentally got a GMC that was huge, but perfectly worked out in the end because it made traveling easier and to keep storage was not a problem. Since we chose an evening flight, that means we would have to drive until 5 a.m. to Yellowstone, so instead we decided it would be cool to stay at Birmingham, Idaho in Crystal Inn, which was a few hours away from the airport and a few hours away from Yellowstone. We woke up later and got to breakfast. This is where we had a mental breakdown thinking of what we were going to do there for breakfast, because we booked cabins, which means we would have to wake up early and drive to get food. We had an idea. We got ready, left Crystal Inn, not a bad place by the way, and stopped at Walmart. There we got water, a lot of water, let me tell you, a lot of water. Just make sure you get a lot of water, snacks, and banana bread. Don't come at me, I love banana bread. Then off we drove to the west entrance of Yellowstone. On our way to Yellowstone, there was this place called Last Chance Stop. Now we panicked and pulled over and we're like, oh my god, this is our last chance to get all our needs and gas. But when we asked the lady, it turns out there was plenty along the way, and we just kind of left with souvenirs such as this cute little keychain. Now, as I said, there are plenty of places in Yellowstone and outside of Yellowstone for you to eat, maybe get snacks, fuel up, which is very convenient. They are at main places such as Old Faithful, Mammoth Hot Springs, Canyon Village, and Lake Village. So don't worry about it. On that note, I would like to say there are places inside Yellowstone such as a general store and even little restaurants, but we found better options near the entrances such as the north, west, east, and south. One of my favorite places was Gardenier, which was by the north entrances, and it had a lot of pizza and Italian and really nice places, which we really enjoyed. So you don't have to feel like that inside of Yellowstone is your only option, because you can always re-enter within that days. Anyway, this is a place we went for lunch called the Bamboo Garden right outside of the west entrance, and it was like a contemporary Chinese American buffet. It wasn't half bad. So there are like little places you can fuel, get snacks, and even eat for lunch. After we entered Yellowstone, we had received a huge map. Now, we were trying to ask for another one because we were pretty sure we were going to lose it or tear it or something, and they said no. So we took a bunch of pictures of it, but I was the smart one because I downloaded the Yellowstone app, which is just free to download and it's super easy to use, and downloaded the offline map. It's very useful because it tracks you where you are and where you're going, and you can even see places and restaurants you want to look at. So definitely recommend the app. It's super useful. Download it and bookmark all the places you want to go to. It's a good planner as well. Here you can see me trying to explain or plan out what was going on. But even I didn't know what was going on because I was confused. Past Priya had no idea what was coming. But anyway, we did have some type of structured plan. My brother knew we were going to eat for lunch and dinner. I knew all the places we were going. We just didn't know the timings and stuff. So my advice is to make sure you have some type of plan of like you're going to eat here at lunch, and you're gonna eat here for dinner, and we're gonna look at these places between those times or whatever. But just make sure you have a plan and it's malleable, because that's literally the gist of it. Now, one of the places we didn't plan but went anywhere on the first day to Mammoth Hot Springs was Norris. Norris is an absolute must-see, especially on the first day. You just kind of get like a little taste of what's to come. There's these really cool geysers and bubbles, and the Norris Geyser Basin is so pretty. You have to look at it. It's really cool. So definitely one of my favorite spots to just kind of look at. Quick update, we are in Artist Paint Pots right by Norris, I believe. And we're gonna check it out. It's a little bit of a walk, 0.6 miles from here. That's a good thing we brought our shoes. Okay, I'll see you when we're there. Okay, so that was a little exaggerated. It wasn't that long of a hike. It was just a little walk. And we did reach Norris's Artistic Paint Pots. It was really cool. And then we moved a little bit further north to the Geyser Basin, which was even cooler. There was like so many little fumaroles everywhere. On that note, we learned a lot during this trip because there are these little billboards everywhere just kind of showing you like what you're looking at and what's what, and it's really cool to learn about it. There are tour guides you can get to help you like keep kids or little ones engaged, and I thought that was really cool because I learned that a rock we were looking at was a blue moon or something. So that was cool. After quite a bit of traveling, we entered our cabin and crashed. We all took baths and went out looking for some dinner. We, as in my brother and my dad. Now, I was taking a shower when I heard the news. Most restaurants actually close at 9. So all they could get was some poutine, some delicious tacos, and more junk food from a local kind of general store. It was pretty convenient that they even had food, but we didn't know about the policy of all stores closing at 9, so you have to be careful about that. There are some restaurants, and I think the general stores is 24 hours, but you have to be careful with the restaurants because they mainly close at 9, but we were lucky to get food. So on that note, let's go to this beautiful tour of our cabin, which was really spacious. I love the cabin so much. It was like an outdoory kind of feel. We were isolated and didn't have to worry about neighbors and stuff. And it was really cool to have our like own little like house. So that's really cool. Definitely recommend a cabin. One of a kind experience. So that was really cool. They did give these little postcards that I still have, and I thought that was cool, and more maps. So definitely recommend it. Anyway,
still solid, like. That's really good.
I'm gonna be one thick potato after this.
Which is
After a long day of traveling and views, I brushed in my beautiful llama PJs and went to bed. The next morning, we woke up and said goodbye to our beloved cabin. We actually had an hour until checkout, but we decided to carry all our stuff in our GMC to not rush things while we are looking at the terraces. Plus, we had to go to Gardenier afterwards, so it worked out in the end. Anyway, this is the Mammoth Hot Spring Terraces. There's an upper terrace and lower terrace. The lower terraces are more wheelchair accessible and they are really cool, but the upper terraces require a lot more leg strength and a lot of stairs. But in the end, it's all worth it because it's literally a one of a kind and it's really cool. As I said before, you really have to see it yourself. The camera does not do any justice. I feel like no matter what camera you have, you really have to experience and look at it for yourself because it just doesn't look the same. So in the background, you can hear about how the tour guide was saying that this rock we were looking at had a huge history behind it. I thought it was cool. We didn't have a tour guide, but the people next to us did, and we just kind of listened in while looking at this view.
Overlook for New Blue Spring. What do you see in front of you? Like the moon, or what did you call it while we were walking up here? Like remains. The remains. Dormant hot springs. Something that was, but is no longer. So this was named back by two scientists who thought that they had discovered a new blue spring.
So after getting down from the mountain, we went to the visitor museum, which was really cool. We wanted to look at some trails that were not too long and not too far. And while we were there, we checked it out, and it was so cool looking at the Yellowstone history and like how it's come through. So I totally recommend looking at the museums whenever you can. So we decided to go to River Pond Trail, and I kind of was like, you know what, I don't really like this anymore, so I just kind of stayed back and looked at the lower terraces. But my brother and my dad went, and they said it was amazing, and there were actually a lot of people going up that trail, even though it looks deserted. It's just that it was very long time to kind of go through that loophole. So afterwards, we went to Gardenier, which was right outside the north entrance, and went to Pizza Company. It was delicious, totally recommend it. And when they say spicy, it was spicy. Let me tell you, that pizza literally burnt my mouth. On our way back, there was a river that actually was going through Wyoming and Montana, I believe. So like you're in Montana, and then once you step in that river, it's like Wyoming, I think. So I thought that was really cool. It's called Boiling River, and there's a spring. So people take their swimsuits and their towels and everything and walk along this trail to get to the spring where it mixes in with the cold water and it becomes like a warm hot tub. And I didn't bring my swimsuit, but my brother and my dad did, and they said that it was really cool. They recommend shoes because it was kind of hard to walk and their feet kept getting stuck in the rocks, but it was an amazing experience. So this is where the audio gets bad. I mean, the audio I'm talking into is already really bad, but this one's even worse, so just trust me. All I'm saying is that we're heading back through Hot Springs to Old Faithful, and we will see you there. Here's some cool montage.